Hi, I'm Kristen Amdahl with Red Heart Yarns. Today I want to talk to you about the open front shrug pattern and some of the areas that we need to read over and understand before we get started on the actual pattern. I've already downloaded the pattern from the website, and so I have it printed out here in front of me, and I just wanted to go over a few of the areas to show you. For example, when you're looking at the measurement to decide which one you're going to use, sometimes it'll say including the bands, not including the bands, and there's different things that you want to make sure you know what to include in your measurements before you decide which size is going to work for you. Also, going forward, if you look at the gauge section here, it tells you where the types of stitches to use and then how many stitches per how many inches. Now in this one it says to use the zigzag lace pattern. Under the pattern stitch sections here, it tells you we're going to use a 2x2 rib and a zigzag lace pattern. So what you would want to do is cast on and knit a couple of the multiples of the zigzag lace pattern in order to create your gauge swatch. Also here we have the special stitches section, which is going to spell out the abbreviation and the glossary definition for any of the stitches that aren't necessarily common in patterns, like a knit, a purl, a knit two together are really common, so you wouldn't find those under special stitches. But if you look at the pattern here, we have the M1 or make one increase and the SSK, which is a slip slip knit, and those are a little less common, and that's why we spell them out in a pattern, so you have an easy reference point instead of looking it up in a stitch dictionary. There's another section here called notes, and this is always a really important section to read before you cast on because it'll help you understand a pattern a lot better. Like for example, this particular pattern is obviously a cardigan style shrug, so you would think that you would work from the top down or the bottom up, when actually this shrug is worked back and forth in rows on circular needles from side to side, from one sleeve up and across to the other sleeve. So if you didn't read that first, you could be really confused with the fact that the shrug starts with a sleeve instead of with the back or the front. The next area that I want to show you on here is where it said under the shape sleeve section, it tells you to knit a certain number of stitches, place your marker, then work one row of zigzag lace to the last two stitches. Now what this means is that you're going to go back to the section where it says pattern stitches, and we've already written out all those rows of the stitch pattern there. So when you're doing the sleeve and the other parts of the sweater, when it refers to the lace stitch pattern, you just need to go back to that lace stitch pattern section to follow along for the rows. No matter what pattern you decide to knit from, it's always a good idea to glance through the entire pattern, specifically the notes and special important sections in the front of the pattern, but even through all the line by lines, just to make sure you understand the scope of the project before you get started. The pattern for this open front shrug and many more are available to download from the website, so please come check it out at redheart.com.